Hey guys, I just wanted to give you all a little recap of the Small School Network conference that we had. So, our main tagline was Ignite Your Story, Inspire Belonging, and Transform Culture. That's what they came to see. And on their way out, these superintendents and school administrators were just dumbfounded at the work that we're doing here and how different our kids are. And the words that kept coming up was authentic. What they do is embedded in everything that they're doing. So I just wanted y'all to know that they were blown away. And I know sometimes we get so caught up in the work that we're doing every day that we forget to see all the progress we've made. I've been here at Keene. This is year 13. And I know a lot of you have been here for a while too. But even if you've just been here 5 years, you've gotten to witness our transformation and the growth that we've made. If you think back to if I think back to the quality of teachers that we had 10 years ago, or even when I was in high school, and I fast forward to what we have now, that bar has risen, my friends. And we're just so blessed to have you guys, We got to show off our transformation room, and we also got to show off a couple of classrooms. I just kind of wanted to tell you guys what they got to see. Because after we met, we talked about the house system and the Keene 22 at City Hall. And Dr. Stevens gave his, this is the Keene story talk. They were still like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. But they didn't quite know the product of what it looks like, and they didn't really know the how you do it. And so a lot of questions at the end of that, when we saw some of the questions going into the that QR code that was popping up questions, some of the questions were like, okay, yes, but how do they buy in? Okay, yes, but what does that look like? So the first thing they got to see before they came to campus was to ask me about the Keene 22. And those kids were nervous for the past month that we've just been, guiding them and letting them practice with each other. But when you think about what they said, that was all them. When I tell you that these kids blew it out of the park, out of the water, whatever you want to call it, it was incredible. These Summit kids and the high school and junior high kids, they were confident. They were working together. They were just, they just blew it out of the water. You could see them, you could see the school administrators and the superintendents start to just started to come to life. Like they just, while it was awesome hearing the story, they really got to be in the story. And that was their first step. When they first walked in, the vibe that we set for them was basically a reveal, a house party reveal. So the kids came in, they were cheering, they were doing the things, they were doing the house chants, they were dancing, people were dancing. We did an awesome reveal. And so they, we captured a little bit of what the third grade reveal would feel like, just to give them a little bit of that. Dr. Stevens gave his story, and then Miss McIntosh, Miss Turnage, and I, and Coach Coffin we did a 4-corner activity where each of us talked about the house operations, how you earn house points, the why, the history of the house names, and I talked about the house parties and the house reveal, and Coach Coffin talked about like our leadership model. And so it kind of gave them a little background of, okay, this is the strategy, the operations behind it. But when those Keen 22 kids came in and they got to see firsthand what that looked like, they lit up. Like they were ready for campus visits. And so they got on our campus. They had some greeters there with them. And so at Keene Elementary, Ms. Turnage did a phenomenal job walking through how our Keen 22 is embedded in our discipline, in our conversations, and how we help kids apply the Keen 22 and really help them understand what it means. Then she went through her amazing reward system, her compliment cards. So they got to come around and see all the different rewards. So they got to see the Read with Brutus. They got to see the bumper cards. They got to see different stations. And the pre-K kids, the kindergarten kids were just talking to them, just confident. And they didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave. She did such a phenomenal job just really showing them how, what our thought process is on our processes when it comes to the Keen 22 and how deeply embedded it is into all the things that we're doing. So then they turned the corner and they were split up between Miss Kittrell's room and Miss Guadamuse's room, and the other part was split over to the transformation room. And I mean, you already know Miss Guadamuse and Miss Kittrell like blew it out of the water, of course. But you know, when I talked to them, it was like, be yourself. Be yourself. Just think about some of the activities that highlight what you're doing. So, because you know, you're cramming a whole lesson or you're cramming a bunch of activities into the 13 minutes that they're in your classroom. Could not have asked for a better demonstration than what we got. When I tell you, they left there, went to the transformation room. They got to speak to Miss O'Connor and Miss McCormick about how the transformation room has transformed how they teach, how, you know, it's a resource for our teachers to engage students, and they went through all of that process. They were just ignited with energy. They would leave the transformation room and they're like, we can do this, you know. And a lot of basically all that we showed, because these schools are so small, you don't want to showcase something. And this is what happens when smaller schools go to the big school one. There's just a million things, you know, oh, this is an elaborate reading program. Okay, but we don't have 16 reading specialists. So how are we going to pull that off? So these were all things that they could hold on to, you know. Even if they can't create a transformation room, they can do the other things we're doing to engage students and make learning fun and just bring a spark back to teaching. So they left there. I mean, they're taking notes. They're pumped. So they leave us. They go down to the junior high and the high school. They all meet in the gym. First, they talk about the Charger Championship and the Gauntlet. So, of course, that was incredible. They got to hear from some kids. Then they left there, and I don't know if you guys remember, some of you might, when we did the Charger Crawl. So theirs was pocket-friendly PD and how you use the staff that you have and the superpowers that you have already on your campus to grow each other. So it's like every piece of what we did was different, but it was all something that, I mean, lit them on fire. Then you get to the SAC committee. And when I tell you these people nailed it, I mean, it just, they got the admin perspective with us, then they got the student perspective, but to hear from teachers that feel heard, that feel valued, that are a voice for you guys, I mean, it was incredible. It really was. They just really, it just made it authentic. It, you can't fake that. So we did the teacher panel. That was incredible. The luau, they didn't know really what to expect. We didn't know what to expect. Are people going to buy into this? We're not serving alcohol. Like, are they still going to come? Because it was a long day. Like, we were tired. I know they had been walking around all day and just had spent a lot of energy. But no, they came. Our Marshallese kids were dancing, greeting them, putting on a show, giving them lays. There was a pig there that they had buried into the ground and cooked. They chopped it up there. It was just such a testament to our Marshallese culture and, just really highlighting the best parts of having that demographic in our district. So that was incredible. They, after they went through the campus visits and SAC, sometimes people leave and get back to work. We had an amazing show out at the luau. And so after all of that, there was so many people that were going to leave. And they're like, I can't leave. Because if the finale is the great debate, I got to stay here for that. So we had actually a very good number. I think of the 80, we probably still had like 60 something, which is a high number. Usually it's cut in half. You see a lot of people come to the breakfast, and when it's time for that last day, like they leave or they don't show. So just the number that we had, it was awesome. So we get to the great debate. Of course, Miss McIntosh goes up and she says, it was awesome to hear how Dr. Stevens has inspired her to, she kind of talked about how every time Dr. Stevens, he's like, hey, we're going to do this thing. And then we're like, yeah, but, what if it doesn't go well? What if it this? What if it that? But every step of the way, we're all buying in. We're all buying in, as administrators, and we've got to buy in so that you guys can buy in, of course. So, she kind of talked about the buy-in and don't wait, because in your mind, you're like, okay, but we're not ready. We don't have Ron Clark teachers yet. We don't have this yet. The kids aren't ready for houses. Along the way, it was just, we're not ready. And then she said, when we look up 10 years later and see the transformation and see where we are today. And, the amazing part about this past week was that we got to see Keene through somebody else's lenses. So yes, we're working our butts off to do all the things, but we got to see how somebody else views us. And that's a rare opportunity. So, she kind of spoke on that, and I had kind of been thinking about that all day. When I'm thinking about ask me about the Keene 22 kids and how that activity went, and just how our kids are different. They're incredible. Even the ones that, we do set the bar high. I know they're not perfect, but they're different. So we get to the great debate. 5th grade shut it down. I mean, all that they've poured into that group of kids, jaws were dropping. Standing ovation for our 5th graders. And it was, that first round went, and everyone was like, this can't be possible. These kids are so well prepared, so respectful to each other, so well spoken, and my goodness, just different, special, incredible kids. And so huge shout out to fifth grade, because that was the shebang. That was the closing ceremony, if you will. And they did an incredible job. The superintendents got to vote the top 5 in. They used like a QR code, and it was instant, and it was just amazing. And those kids got to have an opportunity that we may never have again in the Great Debate. But they were judged by superintendents and administrators all over the state of Texas. And just that opportunity itself speaks volumes to the things that we're doing here and the things that people want to see. So, I mean, I know it was a lot of work, but it was magical. That's the only word I can use for it. As soon as it was over, usually when you go to these events, and Miss McIntosh and I were kind of talking about this, when you go to these events on the last day, like, oh, I can't wait to get back. I have so much to do. And you're just like, okay, I'm ready to go. These people didn't want to leave. They were talking to us. They're asking questions. They're just saying, like, y'all are doing incredible work. We want to come back. Here's my card. Where can I get your info? I want to see more. I want to bring my teachers to see Miss Kittrell, Miss Guadamoose. Like, I want to do that. And I got a surprise. They had so much faith in us just in the planning process that this actually happened before it was over. But Dr. Stevens approached us and he said, if you were about to run a marathon, would you rather know that I'm signing you up for another marathon before the marathon, or maybe like 2 weeks after the marathon? And I was like, what are you saying right now? And he said, well, they asked us before they even came. They had so much faith in what we were doing that they asked us to do this again. But actually for the big schools, the future ready. What we did this time was for schools with 1,100 students and down, or 1,150 or whatever it is, maybe 1,200. The most kids you can have in your district is 1,200. So we will be doing this again in December, but for the big schools. And so they had that trust in us before, but when they were done with all of this, they felt so sure in the choice that they made to come back to Keene. And, I was thinking about it, and it's you. You guys are the ones that make this magic happen. You guys are the ones that are the changing the lives. You guys are the ones spending hours and hours with them, embedding the Keene 22 and everything that you say, everything that you do. And I'm just pumped. I feel like I just left Ron Clark. That's the best way I can put it. And I will say several administrators stood up just to give us feedback, and one of them did say, why would I send my people to Ron Clark when I can go to Keene? And I was just so hyped. I was so proud of you guys, proud of Miss Guadamoose, proud of Miss Kittrell. And then I got to thinking about it, because I'm like, this is a lot more people we're talking about. These are way bigger groups. And then I said, that doesn't really matter for this summit, because you can keep straight and go into the 5th grade hall and get the same thing. You can turn left, go into the 4th grade hall, get the same thing in every classroom. keep going down the hall and you're in 3rd grade and they're rocking it just the same. And so that's just who y'all are. And I'm just so proud of that. And I had so many people, just reach out to me personally and like, I want my teachers to come see your teachers. When can we make this happen? They're just so excited. And I just want to encourage you, because I know it's hard, and I know sometimes it's like overwhelming, and I know it can't be easy to teach and the Keen 22 and do this and the houses and the house points and the thing, but it's making a difference, and it makes us different. It makes us special. It makes our kids different and incredible. So I just wanted to give you all a little recap. They did do an activity to give us some feedback. And so Dr. Stevens is going to decide how he wants to distribute that feedback. But I just want y'all to know that we're amazing. Keep putting in the work. Because you guys are incredible. And it's not me saying that. It was 90 administrators from across the state saying it. So anyways, I'm hyped. I just want to keep doing this awesome work with you guys. And I'm just super proud of everybody for, everything they did along the way, and for just getting these kids ready. Not for this, but just ready for life, period. So anyways, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. If you got all the way to minute 22, thank you. I'm just excited to finish this year off and just get even better next year. So all right, Miss Bell out.